found him not guilty. He's now living in France. He came to our home. The Interahamwe were present, and others were continuing the attacks, and he said, "Clear this dot." It was around 11 in the morning. The Interahamwe, the ones who call them Imihembezo, they came from Gafumba and other areas. It was around our area. They all met at our home. My family members tried to run, each one trying to find a hiding place. Chased them, found them. They also found me where I was, and we were gathered at the top of a mountain. I was lucky. I don't know. What happened? One of the neighbors said, Dorothea, that was my mother, came here with 2 children, and those 2 children could be Burundians, and those who wanted to gather us and to kill us took the parents and the children, and they took them away. And I heard that my parents tried to pay the killers. They paid 5,000 francs because they wished to be shot instead of being killed differently. And the killers said the bullets are expensive, and they killed them instead with machetes and clubs. My sisters were thrown into a pit at Pastor Gasenge's home. He was also killed during the genocide. They were thrown in there alive, but they were first wounded, and some stones were thrown on them until they died. I and my sister, that same night, decided to flee that area and moved to a place called Urutare, Rwanda. Some people know the area, probably. In that area, the younger sister of my mother was there, and her husband was not among the targeted members of the population. She welcomed us. She told us, "Come in here." But that man also had trouble protecting his own wife. The attackers came to his home many times, accusing him of hosting some Nyanzi. I remember that twice the attackers came and they were given money. He gave them money, and a time came, he told us, "Look, please try to go away. I can't protect you anymore." But he gave us his identity card. At that time, he had 2 children, his identity card. The number of children were usually written in the identity card. And he had 2 children. he told us this is an identity card bearing the Hutu ethnic group. When you reach a roadblock, say you are my children. At that time, I changed my name. I took the name of Albert, and my sister became KWIBUKA. At some roadblocks, we would be able to pass easily. But on other roadblocks, people would say that this is another trick of the company. The walk was long. We walked from Mushubati to Kaduha in the former Gikongoro. We lived there among the refugees from Kigali, those from Gitarama, and even some students who were studying at Yave in Kaduha. And those students, many had committed the genocide because they had completed the acts of genocide in the church and others. The children, the students from Byumba were extremely cruel, but we lived there with them. The area was part of turquoise zone turquoise. The Inkotanyi who stopped the genocide in many parts of the country could not reach zone turquoise. The killings continued in zone turquoise. They would kill people who had been hidden, and they would kill Hutus who had hidden some Tutsis. This went on until mid-July. We did not know that the Inkotanyi had stopped the genocide. We were desperate. We had despaired of surviving. There was a student from our area, from Mushubati. He came to pick up his things, and he called my name, my real name, Freddy. All the refugees started looking at me, but because they knew me as Albert, I realized things are getting serious. In the evening, we knew, we had been told that across the river, Mbirurome River, the Inkotanyi were there. So during the night, I took the decision, I decided to walk, and by morning, I had crossed the river. At sunrise, I crossed the river. I saw people on the other side. I walked towards them. And lo and behold, they were in Kotanyi. I reached them exhausted, and I found there two young men. And they asked me, "Where are you going? Where are you coming from?" I explained to them how I reached those refugees, how I was there, and that was the I heard a word, an encouraging what they said. Take heart. You won't die anymore. Where are you going? I'm going to Kigali. Do you know anyone there? I said, no. In a moment, a Red Cross vehicle was here and make sure it takes you. 2 hours later, approximately, the vehicle came and I was given a lift. They dropped me at the bus station. I was told this is the bus station. I had been there once in the past. Now I have to start thinking about where to go. I remember that there was an uncle who lived at Sejem in Gikondo. I had visited them in 1992. I thought it was a good idea to go and visit them. I arrived there. I found the family had been decimated and the home was in ruins. It was night time. I spent the night in those ruins. That's how I remembered what a soldier, an Inkotanyi soldier, had told me. In the ruins, in that night, I started thinking about my life. Before, I think my brain was not working. I was sad. I was thinking about my family. But the saddest thing that I had on my mind was my sister that I had left in the refugee camp. She didn't know that I left. Up to this day, I have not discussed with her about that chapter of our lives. She doesn't know how my life turned out in Kigali. The next day, I came to the bus stop. I came from CGM. I came to the bus station, and I was extremely lucky to find to meet somebody who had been shepherd in our area. I met him. He had come to Kigali. He told me he had also survived, and he told me there are young men from Mushubati who are also survivors, and he took me there. We hugged each other. We were happy, and I told them what had happened to their respective families, because I was there during the genocide. They had left for Kigali. They did not know what happened. They were asking me, so and so, what happened? And I was telling them the fate of each and every individual, because I had the news and I knew what had happened. Later on, I met an uncle who had fled from Burundi, who had returned from exile. He kept me in his house. His neighbor was a soldier called Mutabazi, who was a captain, what he told me. I explained to him how I had left my sister among the refugees. And he told me he walks like an Inkotanyi. asked me, where is it exactly? And I explained. The next day, he took me to that place and he helped me in extracting my sister from the refugees. It was a miracle. And she was also brought to Kigali. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic, I would like to thank you. The Nkotanyi told us that we will survive, and we did survive. They gave us back a hope to live. After my sister was found again, that's when I decided to go back to school. I thank